Man, I wish USC would stop recruiting these high school quarterbacks from California, man. This modern day farm system is not working. We need a new head coach. Get rid of, never mind. Hey, what's cracking with you, YouTube? I was just caught up in the whole USC loss yesterday to Oregon. Um, it's your man King Howie. Welcome back to Cage TV. Shout out to all of the pack addicts out there. Shout out to the SoCal Packers. Um, and let's get into this shit. Now we've been all time record. We are 10-1 against the LA Chargers. I was about to say San Diego Chargers, but against the LA Chargers, we are 10-1. I think the last loss we got from this team was like the late 80s. But since 2000, I mean, since 1993, um, we've been undefeated against this team, 7-0, and this will be the 12th time we will be playing against the Chargers. Uh, I think the last time we played them was in 2015, and that was in Lambeau. And then the previous time before that was in San Diego in a close game. I went to that game, that Chargers game at Qualcomm Stadium. It was raining. I think Phillip Rivers threw like two pick sixes. I think total, I think he threw like maybe four interceptions that game. Packers blew him out, but of course, in Packer fashion, we take our foot off the gas and we let Phillip Rivers throw for over 500 yards that day. And till this day, the team that Phillip Rivers has thrown the most passing yards against is the Green Bay Packers. So, some games in the past have been blowouts. I think one of the games we really demolished them. I think we won like 31-3. But some games have been close. Uh, just like the last time we played them, we beat them 27-7. I mean 27-20. So usually we win these games, but of course a lot of the sports media pundits and analysts have the Chargers beating us for some odd ass reason this year. I don't know if it's just hate against Aaron Rodgers. You know what? It is hate against Aaron Rodgers. That's mainly how these guys make their picks. They make them with emotional um, differences towards Aaron Rodgers. So that's how they base their picks. They don't base their picks based off the team, the Green Bay Packers. They base us losing because of their disdain or distaste for Aaron Rodgers, which I think is, should I say this? You know what I'm gonna say? I think that's just, no disrespect, but I think that's a transgender trait. You know what I'm saying? To be hating on a quarterback, especially a football player, anybody that has any type of emotional, hate filled syndrome in them for an athlete or a basketball player, football player, you're lame, man. They play a game. So let's get into this shit. Like I said, we are on a 7 game winning streak. We've been beating this team since 1993. Um, Phillip Rivers is, I don't know if he's a Hall of Famer. I don't think Phillip Rivers has done enough in the postseason to put him as a Hall of Famer, but he's somebody we got to deal with out there. Zadarius Smith has some type has is familiar. Zadarius Smith is familiar with how Phillip Rivers plays, so I'm expecting him to be an impact out there on the field. Of course, the LA Chargers have a lot of injuries. Melvin Gordon is back. Who knows how much he's going to be involved in this offense? Which, this is his third or fourth week under the fourth week back into this offense. So he might have a big game. We can't leave out Austin Eckler, who's a threat. Not to mention Keenan Allen, who's a threat. They have, I think, another receiver out there that could probably cause us some problems. Um, but shout out to the Chargers and Phillip Rivers and Anthony Lynn and the rest of the coaching staff over there with the San Diego Chargers, who have spoken highly about Aaron Rodgers and Matt LaFleur and the way they um, were able to, take this team from the things that they dealt with last year with McCarthy to now being a 7-1 football team this year. The defense, the Packer defense, is going to have to be on the A game. I was just a little upset at the Packer media that were in Wisconsin before they came out to LA, just asking nonsensical questions. You know, they asking questions like, what was one of the dumb questions? Oh, what did you got? Who? What did you dress up for Halloween? Like, did you guys have a Halloween party? We here to talk football. We not here to talk about costume contests. Talk football. Keep these guys' minds engaged in what they got to do this Sunday. When you talking about costumes, you throwing them off of their focus. We need this team to be, what I'm saying, locked in at all times, because they didn't come up with the phrase any given Sunday for nothing. Like I told you, a lot of these pundits think the Packers will lose this Sunday against the Los Angeles Chargers, knowing and in knowing that California is basically a Packer fan base. I mean, it's a lot of Packer fans in California, man. Just going to the Rams game last year and the San Diego game in 2011, it was just more Packer fans. So I expect the same thing to be like that this week. There are going to be a lot of Packer fans at Soccer Stadium, StubHub, that we have to suffer and play through. I think the Chargers have a new stadium that's going to get built, but I don't know when it's going to get built. It might be 5 years from now before they even finalize the place they want to build the stadium at. So we don't know. But we do know that we played them in StubHub Stadium. Expensive ass tickets. Shout out to all of the Packer fans that were able to afford that. I could have went, but I'm just not finna pay that much to go sit at a soccer field. I'd rather sit at a real football stadium. That's just me. Um, Besides that, this defense is going to have to lock in and get turnovers. We can't we can't give up big plays, man. That's one thing that this defense has been doing, is giving up big plays. And the way Mike Pettin operates is, oh, if we could just, limit this team to about 6 big plays, you never know. Those 6 big plays might be for touchdowns. So I want this defense to be locked in. I want to see turnovers. Phillip Rivers is good for turning the ball over. So we should be able to at least get at least 2 turnovers, an interception or a fumble recovery. Um, we have to keep our eyes on the tight end. Hunter Henry is no slouch. Um, we have to keep an eye on their running backs, Austin Eckler and Melvin Gordon. Those guys are good. Even the receiving core. I don't know how good the Chargers offensive line is, but our defensive line has to get after Phillip Rivers. Phillip Rivers is not going to run out of the pocket. He doesn't move that well in the pocket. He's kind of like he's a flat-footed quarterback who can't move like that. You know what I mean? So we'll have our chances at sacking him today, which I'm pretty sure we'll get to him. But I want to see the rookies show up in this game. Rashawn Gary, Kiki. I want to see these guys show up. Have some success leading into the second part of this season, the second half of the season, because that is not going to do anything but boost up their motivation, give them more courage, and keep them more focused while they're out there giving Zadarius Smith and Preston Smith um, a breather. Um, I kind of Hope this game is a blowout so we could, continue to rest our starters on defense and let the second string guys come in and get some reps. I'm loving the way Sullivan is playing, Redmond is playing, loving the way those guys are playing out there in the secondary and at the nickel position, nickel cornerback position. Um, we'll love to see more out of Oren Burke. Um, I know Blake Martinez is still going to have that club on his hand playing out there, but he's leading the league in tackles, so we need him out there. But that's another thing. We have to tackle. I know you guys. I know the defense is keen on getting turnovers, trying to snatch the ball out of the defender's hand. Some guys are just not going to fumble, and if you guys are going after the ball, what are you not stopping? You're not stopping the momentum of the runner. If his legs are still moving and you're trying to go after the ball, you're just giving up extra yards and you're giving up breakaway tackles to that running back. So guys, tackle. Just tackle. Tackle the guy. Somebody gonna have to wrap the running back or the receiver up. We can't have five guys trying to go after the ball at the same time, knocking each other out the way, trying to hit a opposing offensive player with your shoulder pads. Wrap the guy up. Just wrap him up. Tackle him. Bring him down to the ground. That was one of the biggest uh issues I had last week playing against the Kansas City Chiefs is when we playing against speed guys. When the Packers play against speed guys, they miss tackles all the time. So we have to clean that crap up, man. Going into the second half of the season, we got undefeated teams coming up on the schedule, man, that we need to be prepared for. You know what I'm saying? This is this is where we need to start, thinking about, well, this team needs to start thinking about a playoff push. They need to start thinking about wrapping up this division because the games don't get any easier for the Vikings and the Bears and the Lions. They have to play the Cowboys, the Eagles. They got to play against the NFC. Some NFC East teams. They still have to play against the Raiders. They got to, our schedule kind of gets easy. Remember, our last three games are division games that we should easily take care of. We might lose one game to the Vikings, but I think we could beat the Lions, and I think we could beat the Chicago Bears again. So we just need to take one game at a time. Offensive line, do your job, block, protect Aaron Rodgers, keep Joey Bosa and Elvin Ingram away from Aaron Rodgers because those guys are going to be coming. Joey Bosa is no slouch. Joey Bosa is nothing to play with. So we need Brian Bulaga. Don't know his health. I know I don't know if his finger got messed up the last game. Thank God it was only a finger and he went back out there after Alex Light did his job phenomenally. Nobody knew that Alex Light went out there for Bakhtiari and um, Brian Bulaga. So we do have a nice backup at the tackle position. But besides that, we don't want to even be thinking about that. We just want this offensive line to do their job. Billy Turner, Corey Linsley, you guys do your job. Same thing with Jimmy Graham and Mercedes Lewis. If the tight ends are doing their job, chip blocking, getting out in the open, catching passes for first downs through this complex, simple offense. Basically, the Sean McVay / Shanahan offense that Matt LaFleur is running. We need to execute at a high level. We cannot come out here to California at basically a home game where it's going to be a lot of Packer fans in attendance. We can't go out here like we did last year against the damn Rams where the whole stadium was covered in Packer fans and we dropped the ball. So all three phases of this football team is clicking, we should come out with a win. Now, we know Tremon Smith is back. Um, I'm pretty sure they're still going to use Sullivan as a punt returner and probably move Tremont Smith to kick returner. Um, I don't want to see Jair. I don't want to see Tremont Williams back there fielding punts. Just keep Sullivan at the punt return, put Tremont Smith at kick return, and leave it at that. You know what I mean? Um, Darius Shepard is gone now, so we don't have to deal with that. So we need to clean the small little things in special teams up. You know, clean that up. I expect J.K. Scott to pin the Chargers deep in their own end zone if we do have a 3-and-out. So far, the short yards, middle of the field has been working well for us when we get the ball back, even though we have had some pretty great long drives coming out of our own end zone and scoring. You know, this offense should click better than it did last week. Um, we still are waiting on the status of Devontae Adams, but we should have enough to get the job done and win this game. If we could just, limit the mistakes, force Phillip Rivers to make throws that he can't make, and come out with a victory, we could be going on into the next week to play against the Carolina Panthers. So those are my keys to winning this game. Remember to like, subscribe, share, and go Pack Go.